ISO 9000 by Team Night Shift. ISO 9000 background. ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization, officially began operations on February 23rd of 1947. Network of the National Standards Institutes of 160 countries. Non-governmental organization that forms a bridge between the public and private sectors. Facilitates the international coordination and unification of industrial standards. World's largest developer and publisher of international standards. Between 1947 and the present day, ISO has published more than 18,500 international standards. ISO was born from the ISA and the UNSCC. ISO's work makes a positive difference in the world we live in. ISO standards add value to all types of business operations. They contribute to making the development, manufacturing, and supply of products and services more efficient, safer, and cleaner. They make trade between countries easier and fairer. ISO standards also serve to safeguard consumers and users of products and services in general, as well as making their lives simpler. Overall, ISO enables a consensus to be reached on solutions that meet both the requirements of business and the broader needs of society. ISO 9000 history. October 1946, delegates from 25 countries met and decided to create a new international organization. April 1947, a meeting in Paris produced a recommended list of 67 ISO technical committees. 1949, in Paris, the first ISO General Assembly was organized. 1950s, ISO technical committees were starting to produce what were known as, at the time, as recommendations. 1950s and 1960s, an increasing number of new ISO member bodies came from the developing world. 1961, establishment of the DevCo Committee, the first landmark in ISO's attempts to respond to the needs of its members from developing countries. 1967, Developing Country Conference was held in Moscow. 1968, a new category of correspondent member was established, so that developing countries could play a role in ISO's work without incurring the cost of full membership. 1979, the Quality Management and Quality Assurance was established. In 1986, the first standard issued was ISO 8402, which standardized quality management terminology. In 1987, ISO 9001, ISO 9002, and ISO 9003, which provided the requirements for quality management systems operated by organizations with varying scopes of activity. These standards were completed by ISO 9004, providing guidance on quality management systems. 1992, a further category of subscriber member was added, allowing very small economies to maintain a link with ISO for a minimum fee. Between 1994 and 2003, ISO experienced an explosive growth in membership. September 2004, the ISO General Assembly in Geneva approved the ISO Strategic Plan 2005 through 2010 to set standards for a sustainable world.
ISO 9000 purpose: to facilitate international trade by providing a single set of standards that people everywhere would recognize and respect. ISO 9000 helps organizations meet the needs and expectations of their customers. It also helps organizations comply with government rules and regulations. ISO 9000 discusses definitions and terminology. It is used to clarify the concepts used in ISO 9001 and ISO 9004. ISO 9001 contains requirements and is often used for certification purposes. ISO 9004 presents a set of guidelines and is used to achieve sustained success. How ISO 9000 works. First, an organization needs to decide that it wants to comply with ISO 9001. The reasons why an organization would want to comply with ISO 9001 vary. An organization may want to improve product quality, reduce costs, or simply comply with government regulations. If your company already has a functioning quality management system in place, then you better start with a gap analysis. Gap analysis will point out areas that you need to improve. Once you know the problem areas, fix them. If you're starting from scratch or do not have a quality management system in place, it is recommended for you to begin with ISO 9001 Process-Based Quality Management System Development Plan. When your quality management system has been fully developed, run an internal audit. If things look good, you can announce to the world that you have complied with ISO 9001. You do not have to get certified for ISO 9000. However, getting certified will increase your credibility. Getting certified is easy. After a successful internal audit, you need a register to audit the effectiveness of your quality management system. If the auditor passes your quality management system, they will certify that you qualify with quality management system and has met ISO's requirements.
There are 8 management principles of ISO 9000. Principle 1 is customer focus, which means organizations depend on their customers and therefore should understand current and future customer needs, should meet customer requirements, and should strive to exceed customer expectations. Principle 2 is leadership. Leaders establish unity of purpose and direction of the organization. They should create and maintain the internal environment in which people can become fully involved in achieving the organization's objectives. Principle 3, involvement of people. People at all levels are the essence of an organization, and their full involvement enables their abilities to be used for the organization's benefit. Principle 4, process approach. A desired result is achieved more efficiently when activities and related resources are managed as a process. Principle 5, system approach to management. Identifying, understanding, and managing interrelated processes as a system contribute to the organization's effectiveness and efficiency in achieving its objectives. Principle 6 is continual improvement. Continual improvement of the organization's overall performance should be a permanent objective of the organization. Principle 7, factual approach to decision making. Effective decisions are based on the analysis of data and information. Principle 8, mutually beneficial supplier relationships. An organization and its suppliers are interdependent, and a mutually beneficial relationship enhances the ability of both to create value.
The 12 major process developments in an ISO 9000 plan are 1. Quality management process, 2. Resource management process, 3. Training and awareness process, 4. Product purchasing process, 5. Design and development process, 6. Production management process, 7. A service provision process, 8. Product management process, 9. Customer relationship management process, 10. Internal quality management audit process, 11. Monitoring and measuring process, and 12. A management review process. For each of the processes development in an ISO 9000 plan, there are 9 steps. 1. Develop your process. 2. Document your process. 3. Implement your process. 4. Maintain your process. 5. Monitor your process. 6. Measure your process. 7. Analyze your process. 8. Control your process. And 9. Improve your process.
Criticism of ISO 9000, namely the 1994 version. Although the 1994 version of the ISO 9000 appeared to be a comprehensive approach to quality control, many areas were left wanting and hence open to huge loopholes. Under the 1994 version of the ISO 9000, quote, a company could make concrete life preservers and still be registered to ISO 9000, end quote. The primary purpose of the 1994 version of ISO 9000 was to assure customers that companies produce products at a consistent quality level. There was a common cliché known as, quote, document what you do what you document, and be prepared to prove it, end quote. Reformation of the ISO 9000 to ISO 9001. A new version of ISO 9000, namely the ISO 9001, is based not simply on 20 elements, but rather a 4-section layout. The first 3 sections deal with background. The 4th section deals with a, quote, process model that any effective enterprise can use, whether it manufactures parts, processes chemicals, or provides services, end quote. Process model is comprised of 5 elements. quality management system, management responsibility, resource management, product realization and measurement, and finally analysis and improvement. The ISO 9001 version is comprehensive and yet is laid out in more generic and less prescriptive terms, making it easier for companies and enterprises to fit their operations to ISO standards. The four-section model of the ISO 9001 is based on the Plan, Do, Check Act, or known as PDCA, the process of improvement that was made popular by W. Edwards Deming. This process is much more rigorous than the 1994 version. Quote, do what you document what you do, and prove it, end quote. Key improvements from ISO 9000 to ISO 9001. Voice of the consumer. This is encased by two drivers. Customer requirements drives the input, and customer satisfaction drives the output. Continual improvement. This standard no longer makes simple customer satisfaction the standard, but rather continual improvement raises the bar significantly. The previous ISO 9000 implied a certain degree of continual improvement. However, the new ISO 9001 standard makes it a core value and states it very clearly. Management responsibility. Previously, quality management was done by professionals in the field, namely a management representative in charge of quality. The ISO 9001 version puts the weight of responsibility for quality management on the executive leadership of the enterprise in a 5-phase layout. These are policy, objectives, planning, quality management system, and management review. Resource management. Quote, the section spells out a wide range of specific resources that management leadership must provide or make available, i.e., adequate numbers of competent people, training necessary to assure competence, infrastructure, work environment, i.e., resources that affect safety, ergonomics, hygiene, etc., and suppliers and partners and financial resources, end quote.
This concludes our presentation. This page shows the individual contributions and works cited used by Team Night Shift members to create this presentation. Thank you.